Good. Okay, so guess to me, what's my job? So really there are three aspects of what a patent examiner does. The first thing is, I look at the claims. The claims and the scope define your invention. Then I'm going to look at what else is out there, what the other prior art is, and examine you and look at your claims in relation to those. And then I will issue what is known as an office action. Some of you may have seen this. And what it is a combination of what your claims are claiming and what the prior art is. And it's a legal response to the subject matter that you're trying to claim in relation to what else is out there. And I'll show you an example of how this works. Now, some of you may have seen office actions from the Patent Office. And let's take a look at what are the three of the more common ones. The first thing is what is known as a restriction or an election requirement. I don't know if some of you may have seen this if you've worked with your technology transfer office. And what that is you're only allowed to have claims to one invention per patent application. So imagine a situation where you have a patent application in which you have a sponge and some kind of timepiece. Now these are two different inventions. They don't belong in the same application, but they were written in the same application. So I'm going to, as the patent examiner, I'm going to ask you to choose between one of those two, right? Because you're only allowed to have claims to one invention per patent application. Okay, so I do that and the applicant picks the timepiece. And then, depending on the scope of the claim, you might actually have also an election of species. Here's what I mean by that. The timepiece, you could have analog timepieces, you could have digital timepieces. So I'm asking you for searching purposes, because timepiece is a pretty broad term. For searching purposes, are you more interested, do you want me to search in the digital area or do you want to search in the analog area? That's known as an election of species, or species, strictly. Because the claim is generic to these two species, timepiece. I'm asking you to pick one species. Then, once you have done that, I will examine the patent application and you will get a non-final, it says rejection, typically ends up being a rejection, but it's a non-final office action. And it shows you have a lot of possibilities after that. I want to contrast that to a final rejection, final office action, where your options are much more limited. And we'll talk about what your options are later. So these are the three most common things that you'll see. Others include notice of allowance, which is good. You could see advisory action and some others. But these are the restriction, non-final action, and a final action, the three most common things you'd see coming from the Patent Office.